Welcome back. Today we're diving into an idea that can reshape how we teach and learn science: the importance of introducing ethics early, not as an afterthought. Traditionally, biology classes begin in high school, packed with dense diagrams, vocabulary lists, and a heavy focus on memorization. Ethics, if discussed at all, often comes much later as a separate topic. This order sends a subtle but powerful message. Science is about facts first, and responsibility comes second. By the time ethical questions are raised, students may already see science as technical and detached from real life. But what if we flipped this script and made ethics a core part of science education from the very start? Scientific knowledge is never neutral once it's put into practice. Every discovery, whether in genetics, medicine, or technology, affects people, communities, and the environment. If we teach biology without ethics, we risk presenting knowledge as if it has no consequences. Students who learn how systems work before understanding why responsibility matters may struggle to connect facts to real-world impact. By introducing ethics early, we help students see that science always involves choices and that those choices have real effects. This approach makes science more meaningful and relevant to their lives. Even before high school, children and middle schoolers naturally ask questions about fairness, harm, and responsibility. They wonder why rules exist, what's right or wrong, and how their actions affect others. Ethical thinking doesn't require advanced technical knowledge. It's rooted in curiosity, empathy, and reasoning. Ignoring this capacity means missing a valuable opportunity to engage students in meaningful ways. When we nurture these questions early, ethical reasoning can grow alongside scientific learning, making both more powerful and connected. When ethics are introduced early, the nature of student questions changes. Instead of just asking how something works, students begin to wonder why it matters and who it affects. Science shifts from memorizing answers to exploring real-world problems. This ethical context deepens curiosity and helps students see the relevance of science beyond grades or exams. Questions become more meaningful, and engagement increases as students realize that science is about making choices that impact the world. Ethical questions rarely have one right answer. They require students to weigh evidence, consider different perspectives, and recognize trade-offs. These are the same skills that strong scientific thinking depends on. By introducing ethics before high school biology, we train students to reason rather than just memorize. This prepares them to handle complexity and uncertainty, both in science and in life. Integrating ethics early builds a foundation for critical thinking that lasts far beyond the classroom. Introducing ethics before high school doesn't mean making science easier or less rigorous. Instead, it means framing learning around questions and real-life scenarios that grow in complexity as students mature. Ethics becomes a continuous thread, woven throughout science education, rather than a single unit added at the end. This approach helps students build a deeper, more connected understanding of both science and responsibility. Today's students already live in a world shaped by science, technology, and data. Waiting until high school to discuss ethics leaves them unprepared to evaluate the information and claims they encounter every day. Early ethical education equips students with the skills to think critically about risks, responsibility, and the impact of science on society. This readiness is essential for navigating a complex, fast-changing world. Summary: scientific ethics should be introduced before high school biology because responsibility should grow alongside knowledge, not after it. Early ethical education connects science to real life, strengthens critical thinking, and prepares students for a complex world. Science education is not only about what we can learn, but also about how we choose to use what we know. Starting that conversation earlier makes science more meaningful and relevant for everyone. Thank you for joining this exploration of why ethics should be a foundation of science education from the very beginning. As we've seen, responsibility and knowledge are most powerful when they grow together. Early ethical education not only prepares students for academic success, but also for thoughtful participation in a world shaped by science. Stay curious and keep exploring the connections between what we learn and how we use it.